A wise mentor once told me that advocacy means bold listening. It means building relationships and paying attention to stories and what they tell us about the connections and responsibilities we share with one another. I spent many of my growing up years in the beautiful Tronic-Wichan territory in Dawson City, Yukon. It's a place of complexity, of small towns, close relationships, of settler and indigenous cultures, of gold mining and breathtaking landscapes. It's also a place where I first started thinking about the stories that we share as I learned more about my own community and family history as guests and neighbors on Northern land. Joining MCC's 2-year seed program for young adults felt like a natural next step. The program's focus on community accompaniment, of living and walking alongside churches, and engaging in peace building meant that I had the incredible opportunity to live and work with the community of Mampuhan in Colombia. Although very different from the Yukon, it is also a place of complexity, of conflict, of laughter, of harm, and of healing. Displaced by armed conflict, the women of Mampuhan engaged in trauma healing through quilting their stories, like this one. As they sewed, they shared what had happened to them over 500 years of history, of their ancestors being brought as slaves to Colombia, to displacement by armed groups, and to their dreams of a future free of violence. As they quilted, they also started telling another story of community resilience and hope, of breaking cycles of violence, of forgiveness, of working for reparations and dignity through advocacy. Their story is also a story of faith, that one day they will be able to return to where they were displaced from. But it's a hope that is prophetically linked to action, coming out of a belief in a God of restoration and love who calls people to engage in reconciliation and nonviolence as a community engaged in advocacy. It's bold listening. I love these tapestries because I can also see myself here sewn into the community story and remember that the community is deeply a part of my own story and the work I continue to do with MCC. Here in Ottawa, a world away from the Yukon and from Colombia, I currently continue to work in advocacy and engage in relationship building to bring these stories of hope and action here as we work to speak into Canadian policies that connect with the root causes of forced displacement internationally. We work to build bridges between government decision makers and local community, churches, and partner organizations. We strive to encourage government policies that recognize the connections that we share and uphold dignity and peace, to undo harm and to imagine different futures of repair and restoration. As we do this work, my own faith has been shaped and changed, and my own understandings of justice, mercy, and love are renewed and reimagined. Every day, I am privileged to witness and learn from the power of faith communities in Colombia, in Canada, and around the world when we gather to share our stories, to listen deeply, and to respond with boldness.